Welcome to another Contreras music tutorial. Today we're discussing basic rhythmic composition and what it means for you. So, what are we talking about? Well, music. It is basically made up of two things, sounds and silences, when you think about it. Sounds, silences in between those sounds. You need silences. Just like you need pauses and full stops when you talk, you also need silences between the music. It's phrasing. Okay, so let's go simple. What do all these symbols mean, and why is there a bucket in the front of our screen? Well, this is easy. Let's explain it. First things first, let's talk about our notes. These are our notes, okay? We've got semi-briefs, minims, crotchets, quavers, and we've also got our rests. Now, how do we put these together? And what do they mean? You notice that I'm talking a little differently or a little weird. Why? Adding too much of either rests, too many pauses, or if I just keep talking and I don't stop talking, I'm just talking and I blah, 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 and then 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope you remember everything that I'm saying because I'm not so blah, blah, blah. Again, also weird. Too many notes. Whether you have too many notes or too many silences, the balance is important to maintain. You need to use both. And this is why these are your options. Now, if you've never seen this before, your time pyramid, and if you've never seen this before, your time rest pyramid, then please go back and check your books or check my other tutorials where I explain them thoroughly. But in a very quick crash course, semi-briefs are worth 4. They go for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The minims, second row, go for 2. Hold for 2. Hold for 2. Your bottoms are crotchets. They go for 1 each. 1, 1, 1, 1. And your bottoms are quavers. They go for 1 and. Half a beat each. So we're going to squeeze 2 into 1 beat, going 1 and 2 and. Like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. These are your options, okay? And the rest simply are their equivalent of silence here. These are their equivalent of silence. So if you wanted quaver silences, you use the bottoms. If you want crotchets, you use this bottom from the top. Top second row is minims, and the top row is a whole semi-brief. But little bit of side note theory that the semi-brief at the top actually just means a whole bar. Don't be stressed out. Let's just get right into it so you understand with actual examples. Okay? So anything that I want to go for 4 or the whole bar, I use the top one. Anything that I want to go for 2, I'll use the second from top. Anything I want to go for 1, I use the second last. And anything I want to go for half, I use these bottom ones, and I'll split them up later on. Let's just put into action, okay? Here's what you actually need to know. Each bar is a bucket, okay? Each bar has a bunch of buckets, depends which one. And we're going to subdivide that into each beat. So one bucket equals 1 beat. So this could be a crotchet or it can be a quaver rest. Doesn't matter. 1 bucket equals a crotchet. 1 bucket equals a crotchet rest. That's all you need to know. So if I give you this example right here, how many buckets do you see? Well, that's easy. 4. Therefore, you could expect to have 4 crotchets into each beat, just like that. Okay? Each bar of this 4/4 phrase can only contain 4 buckets. Just remember that as your go-to rule. There are different bars that you can create. You can create 3/4 bars, 6/8 bars, 12/8. There's many combinations. Don't stress about that. We're going to keep it very simple for this tutorial. Just think about each bar containing 4 buckets. That's it. That's your hard and fast rule. That's how we begin composition at a basic level. So 1 bar equals 4 buckets. That's all you need to know. So I can have a maximum of 1, 2, 3, 4. You can throw in notes or rests. It doesn't matter. As long as you fill each bucket with 1 beat, that is the rule. And you have no more, beg your pardon, than 4 buckets. That's it. Can you remember that? 4 buckets go in each little bar or each square, and you got to fill them up. You can't leave them empty. All right? So let's do an example together. Let's begin. Here we go. We have a bar. We have 4 buckets. What could I possibly put in there? Let's do it together. This is not just a presentation. I want this to be something that we actually interact with. So let's go. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to pull my crotchets, my minims, my semi-briefs. I'm going to pull the whole shebang. Got this? There we go. I'm going to pull all of that. Ready? Let's go down, and let's just paste it in. All right, make it just maybe a little bit smaller, but there we go. All right, it's all in. Cool. Okay, so what can we do with this? What are we going to do with this? Well, as you know, we can only fit 4 of them in there, okay? And hopefully you remembered how long each go for. For this first example, we'll keep it very simple. Let's delete this. Let's delete this. What could we have? All right, so let's begin with a few examples. We could have one semi-brief. Why? And that's it. That fills everything. Why? Well, as you remember, 4 buckets, 4 crotchets. That's the limit. 4. Once you've hit 4, here's the magic number. 4. Once you've hit that magic number, you are full. You cannot have any more. Okay? So remember, magic number is 4. You cannot have any more. Once you hit 4, you are done. Move to the next bar. So let's start filling it up with 4. If we did this, we're kind of cheating. I mean, we're not, but it's if you did like a whole composition of just this, it'd be super boring. Your song would sound like this. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Another 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And as you can see, this song gets slow. Your song should sound like. I am making that up on the spot, but basically I'm using different rhythms. I'm using all of these rhythms and mixing it up. And that's what I want you to do. Okay? So please don't just cop out and do that, because we know that that just equals like 1 here, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. We know that that equals that. So 4 of these go into one semi-brief. Okay? We know that. So yes, you can technically put a bar of that and then say I'm done, but that's too easy / you're kind of cheating it. There's no point. Okay, so don't do that. Instead, let's now go and put something more interesting in there. Okay, so let's add in, say, 2 crotchets. Okay, again, you can go anywhere you like. 1 crotchet here, 1 crotchet here, and now let's add, how about a minim? Now, do you remember how long a minim goes for? If you remember your time pyramid, you know that it goes for 2 beats. Okay. So let's do some simple math. 1 plus 1, that fills it up. 1 bucket, 1 bucket. And this one is worth 2. This one's a little bigger. Okay? So therefore, it's going to fill out 2 buckets. Okay? So this bucket is good. It's filled up with this one. This guy fills up both of them. Yeah? And that's it. That's our rhythm. Da, da, da. Here's what it sounds like with rhythms. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Hold for 2. And on the piano. 1, 2. Hold for 2. There's my composition. So my first melody could sound like this. Copy paste. And again. See? We're making music. Okay? I'll show you how to get to sounding like that in a bit. But right for now, just bear with me. Go for da, da, hold for 2. Does that make sense? What could we do then? Very simple. We could literally invert that. Copy, paste it over. And now what would it be? Look. Now it's the opposite. This guy knocks out 2 buckets because 2 beats. Yeah, so that's knocked out. And these guys over here, they knock out 1 each. There's our 4, 4, full. Okay? Again, we don't need to put anything here. Why? Because this one is worth 2 of these guys. Yeah, remember that? 1 of these is worth 2 of these. Okay? So that's our bucket full. What would this bar sound like? Let's count it out together. Hold for 2, 1, 1. On the piano. Hold for 2, 1, 1. You need to imagine the music as this goes. Just hum it in your head like da 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 da. Even in horrible pitch like me right now. Da 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 da. Doesn't matter. Just use your imagination. It's music. That's the point. Use your imagination. Put life into this from the very beginning by imagining what it could sound like. Okay? And on the piano again, I'll just put some random chords underneath. 1, 2, 3, let's do it. Crotchet, crotchet, hold for 2, crotchet, crotchet. We're making music, ladies, gents. Pumpkins and unicorns. There it is. Okay, so we're going to leave that as example 1. Cool? Alrighty. Now, what if we needed to put some rests? Because remember, it's not just about notes, 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 notes. It can get boring if you just playing. You need some rests. Yeah? So let's use some rests in the second one. I'm going to take some rests, which I deleted before. Here, let's take a crotchet rest. Let's put it down here. Okay, so I'm going to add a crotchet rest somewhere. How about here? And now I've got options for the other one. I can use my minims again. I can use my crotchet. Okay, these are like your bread and butter, your most common. All right, so if I'm going to put a rest here, I need to fill out the other 3 buckets, don't I? Now, this one is worth 2, right? So I can put it here? No, because I'd need an extra bucket, wouldn't I? So you can't put the minim there. Okay, can I put the minim over here? Well, no, because again, you need 2 buckets for that minim. Okay, and you can't have 5 in a bar of 4. You can't. Maximum is 4 buckets. That's the rule. So this minimum can't go here because it'd have to knock it over. You'd have to move this guy over here. Now we've satisfied the rule. 2 buckets for the minimum and the rest at the end. That could work. But I said at the beginning I want my rest here, pretend. Okay? So where can I put the minimum? Over here it must go. I've got 2 buckets for that 1 minimum. That's perfect. Now I've got an empty bucket I need to fill out. Let's fill that with a crotchet. That is a complete bar. Hold for 2. Shh. Crotchet. Hold for 2. Shh. Crotchet. Here's what it sounds like on the piano. Ready? Hold for 2. Shh. Crotchet. Again. Hold for 2. Shh. Crotchet. Make sense? So here's what it would sound like with music. Ready? Hold for 2. Shh. Hold for 2. Shh. Hold for 2. Shh. Hold for 2. Shh. And we are making music, ladies, jets, pumpkins, and unicorns. Cool? So there it is with a rest, crotchet, and a minimum. You can then, of course, invert this and change the order. What if I put this over here? Great. This one can now no longer be here, can it? Because it needs how many buckets? 2. So I'd have to pop it over here. Okay, and then obviously this couldn't work right here, this situation here. Why can't it work? Can you have a think about why this is wrong? Think about it. Well, of course it's wrong because this needs 2 buckets. And we're occupying this bucket here. You can't have it. This has got to go over here. Now, this is good because we've got 2 buckets for that. We got 1 bucket for you and 1 bucket for you. We are sweet. What would this sound like? Ready? Think about it. Okay, I'll give you the answer. 3, 4. Play. Shh. Hold for 2. Play. Shh. Hold for 2 on the piano. Play. Shh. Hold for 2. Play. Shh. Hold for 2. Let's put some music behind that. What would this sound like with chords? Ready? 3, 4. Play. Shh. Hold for 2. 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 Done. We are making music, guys. We're making music. We're making it happen. It's not as hard as it looks, right? Now, of course, you can then add much more. You can add multiple rests. For example, here's a 2 rest. This one goes for 2. Okay, I can add that in at any point I want. That'll give me a rest for 2 buckets. So these 2 buckets, or these 2 buckets, or these, it doesn't matter. And then I could have, if I'm going to go fancy, let's add some quavers. Okay, so we're going fancy here. This is hard, all right? I don't expect, if you're a beginner composer, you shouldn't really be using quavers yet. But, you know, we'll make an exception to the rule. But you shouldn't be using quavers because they're quite tricky. I would stick to crotchets. But let's have a listen to what this sounds like, okay? Alrighty, now, how did I get to this? Well, we know that this one is worth 2, so it's going to knock out 2 buckets, right? I'll leave it there. These guys are worth 1 beat. Do you remember from the time pyramid? Yeah, they're worth 1. Where's my time pyramid? Here. 2 of these guys. Give me 1 of these guys, okay? So this is worth 1 beat, okay? Because they're quick. Alright, so I can put 2 of these into 1 beat. This one will knock out 2 buckets. And finally, I've got my last one for my last bucket. So I've got notes, rests. What will this sound like? I want you to try it now before I give you the answer. Go ahead and clap it out now. 1, 2, 3. You clap. Go. Let's see if you got it. Here's the answer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, rest. Da, da, da. On the piano. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Let's put some music behind it. 2, 3, 4. Tiny variation on the 3rd bar, I think, but that was it. Okay, so example 1 right there, example 2 right there, and example 3 right there. We created together. I hope you understand how this works and how the rule of 4 buckets applies in this scenario. Okay, if not, go back and rewatch this tutorial and we're good to go. What I'd like you to do now is to please pause this video and I want you to come up with 3 examples of your own. Write them down on paper, okay? Pen and paper are the best to start with, or pencil and paper. And then if Sir is available, bring them over to Sir to check. And if not, just do it as your own exercise. If you're doing this from home or Sir's not in the classroom, please go 3 bars. I want you to give me 3 examples, okay? Using the 4 bucket system. And you're going to fill it out with these notes, okay? And these rests, combinations of. Please pause the video and finish this task now. Okay, we're back. So you should have 1, 2, and 3 different examples from mine. They should not be the same as mine. Okay, 3 examples of just rhythms. Now we're going to go on to the next part, our actual methodology. So what are we going to do now to actually create a composition or the end product, which is a song like this? How are we going to do that? Well, it's 4 simple steps. We're going to start by creating a structure overall. After that, we're going to write in the notes and the rests, which is what we've kind of been doing now. We've been practicing step 2, I guess. Okay? So we're going to go back, create the overall structure. Then we're going to do step 2, which you just practiced with me. And then the last step is the most fun. We're just going to fill it out with scales. And step 4, which is the subject of another video or part 2 of this video, is to add it to the manuscript. That's actually make it look fancy. Okay? So let's do it together. As you know, we know that each bar has 4 buckets. That's it. Okay? We know that, right? Therefore, if we have a whole composition which will look like this, those 4 buckets, I'm going to pop out here. Each bar is 4 buckets. Each bar is 4 buckets. But let's go back. How do we get to all that? Well, start by, in your books, please. Do this in pen and paper. Start by copying this structure. Go to the end of your page. This whole board represents the width of your book or your page. Please don't cram it in because you're not going to be able to fit all the notes that you need. Remember, your final thing is going to look like this. This one here, this picture here on the right. See? So it's going to be full of notes and stuff. You need to be able to cram in enough bars. Okay? So, step 1. Copy this now. Please pause the video and copy this out. Okay. Now that you've copied that out, cut it in half by doing this. Pause the video and get that done now, please. Cool. Now that you've done that, cut the left one in half. Again, you can pause the video and do it now. All right, and finally, cut the right one in half. Pause the video and do this now, please, in your books. You should have a final product that looks like that. Okay, so concept again. Every bar has 4 buckets. Bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4. It's going to have 4 buckets. Bar 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These are 12 bars. We're going to start by composing a simple 12-bar structure. Something easy. Nothing too fancy. Okay? With that in mind, let's begin. First bar. Here we go. These are our options. So I've just chucked them into the bottom corner. And we're just going to literally copy-paste them across and get stuff done. Okay? I would have used the first 3 examples that we did. This one, 1, 2, and 3. But hopefully you've already written 3 of your own, which I asked you to do. So you could start by putting them into the first 3 bars if you'd like. It's up to you. Okay? If not, just do this with me. Your call. Okay? Alrighty, so I'm going to start off 4 buckets. Here we go. I'm going to go 1, 2, and then my next bucket can be a minimum. Okay, so 3, 4. There's my first bar. What does that sound like? Da, da, da. And now I'm going to change my pitch. Do this as you're writing. That way you can imagine what it's going to sound like. Da, da, da. Notice I'm going down, up, down. See? Obviously, keep them in a straight line once you just, getting this drafted out or writing it out. But as you're composing and singing, you should be doing stuff like this. Yeah? What would this sound like? Just use your imagination, okay? Because, again, you have to do this as you're composing. If not, this is just a theoretical exercise. You might as well be doing maths and physics. Nothing wrong with maths and physics, but it's not this subject. What would this sound like, guys? Look. Okay? In fact, let me give you an easy one. Let me make this the next bar. Okay? And how about we do this? Look. Just basic pitch direction. You don't have to be a genius or have musical talent to be able to see that this is going which direction? Up, isn't it? So, what would this sound like? This bar here, these 4 notes. Can you just hum those out right now? Ready? 1, 2, 3, hum them, go. I hope you hummed something like this. Da, 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 da. See, I'm going up in pitch. Or inversely, if it was like this, please do this exercise with me. Are you ready? What would this sound like from here to here? Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Hum it, go. If you hum something like da, 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 da. Yeah? How great is my pitch today? You've heard me clear my voice how many times? I'm definitely not singing pitch and my voice sounds horrible. But that's the point. We're not being marked on performance. This is composition, guys. So don't be afraid of humming. Da, 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 da. You need to be creative with this. Okay? So yeah, it should have sounded like that. Da, dum, dum, dum. Okay? Alrighty. So final one. Final one. Ready? If this bar that I just created sounds like this. Dum, 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 dum. What would this bar sound like? Can you please give it a go? Ready? Just give it your best shot. 1, 2, 3, go. The answer could have been something like da, 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 da. See? Hope that makes a little bit of sense. So just by looking at these notes, going up and down, here's what my song could sound like. From the beginning, ready? 1, 2, 3, 3 bars. Dum, da, 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 da. That's my intention. That's what I want it to kind of sound like. See? It won't always translate perfectly when you go and take it to an actual instrument, but that's not the point, guys. The point is for you to be creative and to move it around. Okay? So here we go. Right now, I've got this first line almost ready, and then I'm like, okay, my last bar, I'm just feeling lazy. Boom, throw in a crotchet. I'm technically trying to cheat it. It's not cheating, but don't use too many semi-briefs, okay? I think I said crotchet, sorry. Semi-brief is what I meant. All right, so all up, here's what composition sounds like. Ready? I'm just do it on G. Clap along with me, see if you can keep up. 1, 2, 3, hold thing. 1, 2, hold for 2. 1, 2, 3. Now the quick notes. And hold 2, 3, 4. Here's what it sounds like. Just again the same G, but with some chords underneath. Ready? Same G. I won't do anything fancy in the right hand. Follow with me. 1, 2, 3, let's go. 2, 3, 4, and we're back. Look at that. We're making music. Doesn't sound great because I'm just sticking to G, but you can then, in step 3, fill it out with pentatonic scales, and it will sound like this. 2, 3, 4. Doesn't that sound much better and much nicer? See? We're composing with rhythms. Okay, now there is one problem with this. Can you spot the problem with this? We followed the 4 bucket rule. Everything technically is correct, but there's a problem. Can you spot it? Think about it. The problem with this bar and the problem with the rest of this music, that if I keep composing like this and I never stop and haven't any pause, it just keeps going note by note by note because there are no rests, so I'm never going to take a breath. I'm just going to keep talking, and this is just going to keep going, and then my voice is going to keep trailing on because I never take a breath. Guys, there are no rests. Where's my rests? There's no rests. Okay? So technically there's nothing wrong with it, but like imagine being an artist or you know, a painter and just painting with one color. It's not good. Imagine just using one set of tools, you know, if you're a workman, if you're some type of metalsmith, woodwork maker, or just using just one digital tool on your phone or one app on your phone. You need a variety of apps. You need a variety of tools. You need a variety of colors. Guys, we need some rests in there. This is too much talking. So let's throw in some rests. How about we go a rest here? Let's delete this. Delete, delete. We're going to use a minimum rest because, as you remember, minimum rest goes for how long? Do you remember it? They go for 2. Yeah? They go for 2. So we use that hat rest. When it's poking up, it goes for 2. Let's use that here. And now over here, this is too much. So do. Let's put in a rest here. And maybe this can be a crotchet. Let's change it to a crotchet. I know I'm changing my comp a little bit, but there we go, crotchet. Good. And then this last one, we'll leave it as is. And just that. So we've added just look 1 and 2 rests, plus I made 1 modification. So instead of this thing going da 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 play play da 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 da, now it's gonna go 2, 3, 4. Rest for 2. Rest. And now that is much more interesting as a composition. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, let's not use this one because that's kind of cheating. And let's move on to our next bar. Could you now please pause this video and make the next 4 bars happen? Create brand new 4 bars using notes and rests. Please pause the video and write out your next 4 bars now. Off you go. Okay, you're back. Awesome, awesome. Now, so far, some of you may be thinking, so where are these notes? Where's the advanced stuff? Where's this stuff? Yeah? Or how come we're not using like these rests so far, these ones, and doing stuff like this? Okay, you can, but guys, I'm going to keep this one very simple because it's just a simple tutorial. We're going to save that for advanced rhythms and stuff. So let's do that in another tutorial. This one, we're just going to stick to the notes that we got here. Okay? So by now, hopefully, you've composed the next 2 bars, next 4 bars, I beg your pardon. I'm just going to quickly compose that right now in front of your eyes. I'm just using random notes. Da, 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 dee, da, da, dum. So let's go here. So doom, rest, doom, doom, dee da 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 dum. So what's that? That's dee da 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 dum. Okay, I'm going to break my own rule and finally have a bar of silence. I said don't do it because a lot of people try to cop out and just cheat it by having a bar of silence, but we're going to add it in just to make it sound nice. Okay, so here's my 4 bars. Ready? Hold, 2, 3, 4. Da, rest. Da, da. That's for 4. Dee da, dee da, da. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then let's finish with something a little more interesting. And I did rob this minim from here, so let's put it back. Let's have some more minims. Minim for 2, minim for 2, minim for 2. Rest again for 2. I seem to be using that rest a lot, don't I? Right in the same spot. Let's go interesting for the last one. Rhythm, rest. And let's use that as a unit. Rhythm, rest, finish. And as you can see, I tend to use long notes at the end, okay? Maybe that's a pattern I should break, or maybe it sounds nice. It's up to you. All right, what does my last line sound like? What does my last line sound like? I'll give you 10 seconds to work it out by yourself. I want you just to hum it or clap it. Okay, so I'm going to shut up for 10 seconds, and then I'm going to play it for you. Off you go. Last 4 bars, go. What does it sound like? Okay, how did you go? Did you get that? Did it sound all right? Here's the answer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2, hold for 2, hold for 2. Rest, rest. Play, rest, play, rest. Play, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if I gave it pitch, like I'm giving it now, see how it's going up and it's going down. Da, da, da. Hold for 2. Da, rest, da, rest. Da, the last one, see? Okay, and then of course I can give it notes and some chords. So here's what it would sound like if you gave it some notes. So hold for 2, hold for 2, hold for 2, rest for 2. Play, play, 2, 3, 4, with notes and chords. 3, 4. Rest for 2. Rest, rest. 2, 3, 4. It's just an example of what it could sound like, okay? There it is, ladies and gentlemen, pumpkins and unicorns. We have composed 12 bars. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, go back, rewatch it a bunch of times, and you should be good as gold, okay? Now, here's the next fun part. What happens after we've composed our 12 bars? Well, we know that it's time for step 3, filling it out with scales. In this instance, or this case, we're going to be using the C pentatonic scale, the magic scale. Pentatonic, why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C, D, E, G, hey, hey, G, E, D, C. 5 notes. Okay? There's no way this can sound bad. The very worst it'll sound is... You sound like a commercial, or like a, a stereotypical game. Everything you play in here will sound good no matter what, because that's the nature of pentatonic scales. Okay, that's why they're so much fun. You don't have to really think about it. You can just slap them on, they sound good. So how are we going to do this? How do we fill it out? Well, it's easy. Take your composition, the one you just did. So yours should look a little different to mine. And if you haven't done that, by the way, let me ask you to please pause the video now and finish 12 bars. Okay, let's do that right now. Pause the video, compose your 12 bars, and hit play. Come back when you're ready to continue. Okay, hopefully you're back. So we're going to be up to step 3, which is to fill this out using our pentatonic scales. Our last step, okay? Our last creative step. After that is just transcribing, you're just copying, okay? So let's use a scale. Let's put it over here. Here is our scale, the C pentatonic scale, and we're up to step 3. Cool? Okay, our notes are C, D, E, G, A. Got it? Okay, so let's put that over here. Let's put it underneath. I may be able to get this to line up perfectly. I may not. Who knows? We'll find out soon. Okay. So, simple, simple, simple. What do we got to do? Just take any of these notes and just assign them to a note. Okay? We assign them to notes only, not rests. Because you remember, rests are silences, so they don't get notes. Everything else gets notes. Okay? So, beg your pardon. Here's me doing it the boring old way and no creativity. I'm just going to go in order. C, and then this one's going to be a D, and this one's going to be an E, and this is a G, and this is an A, okay? No skill whatsoever. And then I'm just going to reverse that. I'm just going to go A, G, I'm going to go E, I'm going to go D, sorry, D, C, and then I'm going to finish with C. Absolutely boring. Going up, going down. That's it. No skill required, and it's going to be bland. But it just goes to show that nothing can go wrong when you use the pentatonic. Okay? So ladies, gents, pumpkins, unicorns, let's do this. It's going to go, ready? C, D, E for 2, G, hey, break for 2. Now, a quick A, G. These ones are quick. The A, G are quick. Okay? Hey, G, E, rest. D, C, and then a C for 4. So all up, here's what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3 with no pauses. Rest for 2. I forgot the rest, didn't I? Da da da, rest. Da da da. Still making mistakes, guys. Hey, it's part of the learning process. We all make mistakes. It's about what you do with the mistakes and if you can correct them. Okay? So there it is. With some chords, here's what it could sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... This time I remembered my rest. Okay, so what did I do? I took the scale and I just went up and I went down. I went C, D, E, G, A, and then I reversed the order. A, G, D, C, E. A, G, E, D, C. Please don't just do that. It's going to sound generic and boring. Please come up with your own random permutations, combinations of C, D, E, G, A. So this could be like starting on C and then going like A and then down maybe like an E, and then I've got double notes. You can double up G, G, I can rest, then I can do some more doubles. I can do high C, maybe an E, maybe a rest, and then I go like A, G, and then an A, okay? I don't even need to know what that sounds like. It doesn't need to, you don't need to know, okay? Save that for when you get to the piano, or when you're on to your software, or when you become a musical genius and you can just listen and play everything, okay? Doesn't matter. Just fill them out. That's all you need to do, okay? Fill them out. Make sense? Okay, so here we go. This is my random combination here. I want you to pause and create your own random combination on your own composition. Yours will be different to mine because I've got a rest here, a rest, and these notes. Please pause the video now and complete the first line of your composition, the first 4 bars. Go. Okay, you're back. You've done it on pen and paper? Yeah, I hope so. Cool. So we're now going to do the same for the next row. Literally copy paste. Okay, but obviously we're not going to copy paste. We're going to start fresh. I highly recommend, guys, at the start of each line that you begin on a C or an E or maybe a G. These are stronger than the D's and the A's, okay? Later we talk about why, but start on a C, start on an E or maybe a G at the beginning of each line, okay? So we're going to start it right here. Let's go with the C, for example. Let's switch it up. E. Do I do anything for the rest? No. Why? Because it's silence. So move on. Let's just go random. Let's go D, and then this one's going to become a C. Okay, I'm just going random now. A, G, G. I've done that too many times, haven't I? Let's go A, E, E, C. All right. And look, since we're on a roll, guys, and you know we don't have to do this. It's a rest, so we're done. Since we're on a roll, let's move it on and just finish. Let's just do the last 4, okay? Last 4 bars. So let's go C, E, G, nothing for the rest. Oops, I kind of missed that, didn't I? Alrighty, and finally D, E. I don't know why I'm switching between caps and everything else, and then C. Alright, so here's what it's going to sound like. Let's do this first line together. We've got notes, rhythms, and then the bottom line. Let's do this a line together. Here's what it sounds like, guys, on my composition. 1, 2, 3, I go. Hold for 2, rest. D, C, 2, 3, 4. A, E, E, C for 2, rest. 2, 3, 4. What about my bottom line? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, and hold for 2, hold for 2, G for 2, rest for 2, D, rest, E, rest, C. Pumpkins, unicorns, ladies, gents, we composed 12 bars of music. What could this possibly sound like with chords underneath? The magic little chords, which we're going to add in another tutorial. Let's listen to it. Ready? This is our song that you helped me compose. We did it together from beginning to end. Can you please follow along? Can you follow the screen along? Follow with me. 1, 2, 3, it goes. Next line. 2, rest. 2, 3. Quick notes. 2, 1, 2, 3. And C, E, G. Rest for 2. D, rest. E, rest. C, 2, 3, 4. And look at that. We made music. We made some magic happen. How do we get to such a complicated step? Well, it was simple. We started with buckets, 4 buckets. We knocked out 1 bar. We then took that, okay, and from that 1 bar, we created 12 bars. We slowly filled them in bit by bit. Then we added the pentatonic scales, didn't we? Just randomly throwing them in there, using rests as well, and there is our final composition. So guys, excellent work. If you're up to this right now, congratulations. If you missed any step or you didn't understand any step, please pause or go back, rewatch it. And of course, you can always ask myself or your teacher for more help if you need this. We're now up to the last step. Do you remember what it was? We need to add it to the manuscript. Okay? So the last step is for you to now go in from what you have here and add it to a plain manuscript, plain script manuscript. What does this mean? Well, this means, okay, opening it up, okay, and I know this is very low quality res, and then saying, right, if I've got C, A, E, I need to literally take this note, and this note, and this note. I need to place them on a C, an A, or an E. So in my staff, I need to draw a treble clef, put 4/4, and then I need to go right, using my poems, my knowledge of poems. Where's my C? F, A, C, okay, and where's my A? F, A, good, and where's my E? I've got 2 options for that E, yeah, for C, A, E, don't I? I've got an E up here on the space, or I've got an E on the bottom line. This is where it gets interesting, guys. If you put it down here, it's going to go ba, ba, ba. Or if you put it up here, it's going to go ba, ba, ba. Isn't it? So you've got a creative choice here. When you are transferring or doing step 2, transferring all this onto paper, you get to choose if it goes up, if it goes down, don't you? So here's what you do on your script paper. So get paper and pen out, please, like on what you've been doing in your books. If you have manuscript, great. If you don't have manuscript, just take a ruler and rule out 5 lines, 4 spaces, and start transferring over. Here's my first bar of transfer. C, A, E. Look, C, A, E. Remember, the stems go up when they're below the middle stem or middle line B, and when they're above it, they will point, down like this, okay? P's. P's and D's, dogs and puppies. Don't ever do Q's like this. Don't ever do a Q, that's wrong. And then don't ever do a B for boy. They're not boys and queens, that's wrong. They are dogs and puppies, okay? So my E would be here. What are my notes? I've got E, a C, A, E, excuse me. So C goes here. Here's my A, and my E, if I'm going to put it here, that's what it looks like. If I'm not going to put it there, then it's going to go like this, and it's going to go up here. Okay, again, my staff, my staves, the lines always aiming towards that middle one. That middle one's a magnet, okay? So all the stems should be pointing towards the middle line. Let's do 1 or 2 more bars together. Here it is, G, G, rest. Okay, so you know what this looks like, and then you can do it yourself. Here's my next bar. I'm going to put G, G, rest. Okay, so G is the line, G is the line, and then rest, and then end my bar, so I have to put another bar line there. As you can see, you need to leave enough room. This is why I said at the beginning, use the width, okay? I'm not going to have enough room for the sake of this one. We'll do one last one just for the sake of the example. I hope I can squeeze this in. I may not be able to, but let's try. Here we go. Bam. And I won't be able to squeeze that in unless I make these like micro notes. They're going to be too small, but it doesn't matter. Here we go. And what are my notes? I've got CC, E, AG. So CC, there's my CC. And there's more than one option. I could put C down here. There's even a C up there, but let's go simple. CC, E, AG. So CC, E. Again, I've got an E up here or an E down there. Last time I chose the E up here, so let's switch it up. I'm going to go E down here. CC, E, rest, and then what did I say? AG. Okay, so here's when you're going to need to use one of these fancy notes. You can use these fancy notes if you're splitting up the quavers, or you can change the beams. I'm just going to use these ones like this so that you can see what I'm doing. AG. I'm going to put this guy on A. Oops. This is as fancy as you need to get. You don't even need to get this fancy, okay? Oops. AG. So like something like A. I know it's blurry. And then G. I need better manuscript paper, don't I? And then you just join them with the stem in the middle. So you join them like this, okay? Just so you know what they look like. You can get rid of those little tails whenever you're doing quavers and they're moving. See how they're moving? They're not straight. They're moving down notes. You can then join them with one stem. Doesn't have to be that thick. Get rid of the tails and just join them with the stem. Okay, so no tails. All right, it's very makeshift, but it's just so you understand. And now I have music, guys. Da da da, dum dum, rest. Dee dee dum, rest. Da da. And now as a pianist, you give it to a pianist or a good guitarist or a musician, and they can go look at this music, right? And you don't need to have any of this mess. You just have this. And I'll go, right, can you play this for me? And I'll go, sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, rest. See? We have music. And that's all you got to do, ladies and gents. Pumpkins and unicorns. Take your notes, copy them over, put them into the right place with your rests, into the right bars, paste them in. Okay, write them in, please. Make sure you're doing this pen and paper to start with. Put in your bars, put in all rests, make it look pretty, and this all should finally end up looking something like this, but much nicer. Okay? From then, in a following tutorial, we will move this beautiful composition over into Flat.io or any software of your choice. And this, guys, is how we compose using the simple but beautiful concept of rhythmic composition. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next video.